This episode of Rookie Hunter is proudly brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, renew your membership, and join the Less Than One Club at wildsheepfoundation.org. And make sure to check out Sheep Fever, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Foundation. Do your part to put and keep wild sheep on the mountain. Hey guys, welcome to episode 161. Hope everybody's doing well, enjoying the summertime. It's the in-between season here for most of us. I know some of you guys are probably gearing up for sheep hunts up north, so good luck to you guys. If you're there or on your way there, kind of jealous. Some of you guys are getting prepared to head out there, but have an awesome time. Because it's the in-between season, I thought I would just kind of cover some things that are happening in the province here. Not all of you guys are in the province, but hopefully this will inspire you to look at what's happening in your backyard. And because it's sort of the in-between season, this is a good time to do some volunteer stuff. And there are things happening in British Columbia. You do have to do a bit of digging sometimes, but this is a good excuse to get out into the backcountry, donate your time, and do great stuff for wild critters. So I cover a bit of that in this episode. Just a quick reminder, please become a member of the Wild Sheep Foundation. They're a huge supporter of us, amazing people at the Wild Sheep Foundation. And obviously they're tied to us here in British Columbia with the Wild Sheep Society of BC. You've heard so many of them on this podcast. And like I said, incredible people, incredible organization. Please consider becoming a member. Go to wildsheepfoundation.org. Let's get into the episode. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 161. Hey guys, how you doing? How's the summer treating you? We're well into July already. Crazy. It's hot. It's extremely hot here. If you're in the valley here in the Okanagan, you know what I'm talking about. But I think it's pretty much hot everywhere. There's some smoke in the air. There's a number of fires. That's kind of just what we come to expect here in the Okanagan, and pretty much everywhere in the world, I guess. Anyways, that's kind of a depressing way to start off the show, but it is the reality. I just want to do a bit of quick housekeeping on this episode. I didn't give you guys an update on our final bear hunt. I think you probably figured out it was unsuccessful in the fact that we did not get to harvest a bear here on the last day of the season. But as I outlined last time, man, it was just an awesome spring. A great way to get back into things and just get out there and observe a ton of wildlife. I think I named all the things that I saw in the last episode. So no complaints, really. It's been absolutely amazing. Kelly Molnar did make it out with us, which was awesome. And our friend Kelly Veltri, who made an appearance a few episodes back, he came with us. He's should have his hunter number or his Fish and Wildlife ID, whatever it is now. He should have that anytime now. So he'll be able to go out and Snowshoe Hare opens up in August, I believe. I think it's the beginning of August, might be mid-August. I have to look into that. And then we're already into September, so it's not that far away. July is always just that kind of funny in-between month where there's nothing going on. But honestly, it's way too hot to go out and do anything anyways. So countdown for August should be fun. Really excited to get Kelly out there. Kelly Veltri. The added Kelly to the mixture is going to be a bit confusing, but I'll try and keep that clear. Anyways, I told you guys that I applied for a number of things with limited entry. All of us did, actually. And I was the only one that was successful. There is a tag for mule deer doe, and I was able to get that. So feeling pretty confident about that one. That's it's just one of those ones where it's almost a guarantee. And I mean, it's never a guarantee, but there's going to be some meat in the freezer this year, which is great. What the first animal I ever harvested was a whitetail doe, and honestly, I think that's some of the best meat we've ever had. So excited about that. But honestly, I think my focus for this year is getting Kelly Veltri out and introducing him to it. I also want to see Kelly Molnar and Garrett too, for that matter. Those guys haven't harvested a muley buck, so I'd love to see those boys get a 4-point muley. And I think the LEH doe tag that I got will be a really great opportunity to get Kelly Veltri out and kind of show them the ropes of what it's like to actually harvest a big game animal and what's involved. That's a really great place to start. So getting excited, man. I don't really have any goals other than that. I want to start looking at some sort of higher elevation mule deer options where we can camp. If it's going to be this hot in September, it would be nice to get somewhere up higher in the Alpine. So yeah, checking out spots. And I think, for the rest of July, more likely into August, scouting is going to be the main goal. And that, much like the bear season, is just an awesome opportunity to get out there and get your legs in shape and see some new country, explore some new areas. So that's the plan. As I'm sure you guys have gathered, Garrett's been super busy with his house renovations. He's hoping that's going to be wrapped up in August. That stuff always takes longer than you expect. So we haven't really made concrete plans to get out there together. I'm sure it's going to happen. It has to happen. I mean, that's why we got into this in the first place. It's the family tradition. And if you guys, remember one of the very first episodes we did, we sort of told you how we got into this, and it all traces back to my old man. And hunting for him was about those traditions. He hunted with the same group of guys every single year, and that's the beauty of it. You make time for those important people in your life to go out and spend a week together somewhere, have an incredible time, and we have to make sure that we keep that in mind in our hunting group here and make it happen. You just got to do it. A couple of quick things I wanted to cover. On the last episode, I played the William Shatner fish farming video that kind of went viral on social media there. It was interesting. It's much like anything, it's a pretty complicated issue. I'm sure there are cases where fish farming can be done well, and there's cases where it can cause a lot of problems. So I got a message on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to you. I'm not going to say who it's from, and you'll find out why. But I said, "Hey, Mike, love the podcast as mentioned previous, but I feel like I need to chime in a bit on the fish farm conversation. I'm in the fisheries industry, not fish farms, but I feel like, and this is my opinion, that fish farms have been unfairly put forward as the single cause of salmon depopulation over the past few decades. While I do agree fish farms aren't perfect and are a breeding ground for potential disease in wild populations, I think it's important to also acknowledge the massive amounts of spawning habitat that have been completely destroyed by deforestation in the province, which I 100% agree with. The logging practices and, in quotes, laws protecting salmon habitat are disgusting, but because this occupation is a historical occupation in the province and one that has fed many families, including mine growing up, it is cast aside and ignored. Anyways, I hope people consider all factors when it comes to salmon in their natural habitat and not just focus on a couple celebrities swearing in an ad." This is by no means a critique of your views on the podcast episode, and I'm happy to listen and discuss all views on any topic. So keep up the good work. Anyways, I really appreciate that message, and I always try and make it clear when I'm covering something that if I haven't done a full deep dive into researching it, try and make that clear. My mind's not made up. For my mind to be made up, I need to actually like go and see these places. I need to talk to people, and I haven't done that. So I think we can all agree that fish farming practices aren't great. But like he said in his message here, we need to look at the big picture and things like logging practices. I will admit, kind of drive me crazy. I do not like the way our forests are managed. I kind of touched on that in the last episode too. Going into some of these, just cruising Forest Service roads, those areas don't inspire me. They don't give me that that feeling and that sense of like a reset when you're out in like a natural habitat, an untouched landscape. So those are generally park and protected areas. And that's what I love about hunting. It's going into those spots that you feel like you're standing in a place that's been untouched and has looked pretty much the same for thousands of years. And that's a cool feeling, man, to be in there. But when you go into these poorly managed areas that are so dense with trees, and from what I understand, they use a lot of spray too. So they're killing all of the other trees that they cannot harvest, and it also kills all of the undergrowth and all those things that are important to other species as a source of food, a source of safety. I mean, when forests are that thick, prey species have no chance. I mean, I don't even think they would go in there, but deer and stuff rely on open areas where they can see predators. And I mean, you just don't see a lot of life. You can't even walk through some of those forests. They're so packed tight with trees. And anyways, that's my rant. I think we need to improve that. British Columbia, visually and internationally, is known as a outdoor mecca full of wildlife and wild places. And I think we need to start living up to that reputation and doing a better job of managing our lands and our waters and our resources. Obviously, it's important that we continue to make use of those resources and profit from them. Like you said in his message, that feeds a lot of families, and it's important. It is part of our history, but I think we can do a better job of it. So yeah, anyways, he's right. We got to look at the big picture. And this is where I wish, I hate saying anti-hunters, or calling them the antis, but animal rights types. I wish we could all just, come together on stuff like this. I think that'd be pretty productive. I think that'd be pretty amazing if two very different communities could say, "Hey, we don't like this, and cool, let's change it. Let's get together, strengthen numbers. Let's make some positive changes for wildlife and wild places." I think that'd be amazing, but that might just be unicorns and rainbows, fantasy dreaming. But you never know, right? So anyways, that was a really great message, and that's what I encourage you guys to do. If you disagree with something that I say, or if you want to add to the conversation, that's the whole point of this exercise is for me and the guys to learn more about what's happening here and in North America and throughout the world, because learning things and changing your opinion about topics is how you move forward and become a better person and do the right thing. Wanted to let you guys know about an opportunity as well. If you're here in Region 8 in the Okanagan, Danny Coyne, he's been on the podcast before many, many years ago. Great guy doing great things here in the Valley. He put up a post. He's with the Rocky Mountain Goat Alliance, and there's a great citizen science opportunity. So they're working with the BC Ministry, Region 8 Wildlife Biologist team in collecting adult and kid mountain goat counts. I'm just reading this right off of his Facebook page. The data collected will be used to help identify herd size and risk of disease such as Mycoplasma pneumonia, MOVI. You've heard that many, many times within the herd. There will be a series of counts being conducted between July 20th and August 17th, so there's still time to get involved. Counts will be conducted on Wednesdays with the ministry team, and ideally a volunteer-based count each weekend, depending on volunteer turnout. Each count will consist of 3 groups of people. Volunteers must be physically prepared to hike steep terrain and cover up to 20 kilometers in summer temperatures. And as I just explained, it is hot as fuck here. So due to the high temperatures, we will be departing for these counts via boat in early morning, approximately between 4 to 5 a.m. Anyways, so they're looking for volunteers. If you guys are interested, I would urge you to get in touch. You can email Danny directly. His email is danny@goatalliance.org. So, man, that'd be a pretty fun opportunity. I think I know where they're doing this, and it's a beautiful area. And other than the temperatures, will be a pretty cool thing to do. And sheep and goat counts are obviously very important. I've done a few of them and always enjoy it. So anyways, check that out. Again, I'll give you the email address, danny@goatalliance.org. It's DANNY. And I'm hoping that I can get involved here. I just don't know what my schedule is. So maybe I'll see some of you guys out there. Maybe we'll be on your team. One more quick thing I want to cover, and I apologize, guys. I know I repeat myself on here sometimes. I should probably start taking notes on what I've discussed, but I think I brought up whirling disease. I may not have. My brother-in-law, Kevin, sent me a link a while back, and whirling disease has been detected in the Columbia River. And some of you guys know that I grew up right on the Columbia River. It was in my backyard. We had a aluminum boat back there, and that was my upbringing. And so I'm very closely connected to the Columbia River. It holds a very special place in my heart. My dad lived on that river, and I can honestly say he's one of the best fishermen ever to fish that river. So this is disturbing news, to say the least. The BC Wildlife Federation is holding a webinar. This is coming up next week on July 24th. Info session, I think it's at 7 p.m. I will put a link in the show notes if you guys want to check this out and sign up for it. It's just an online presentation over Zoom. I'm hopefully going to try and do it. I'm doing some filming that night, but we'll see what happens. So let me just, I'm going to read some more stuff to you guys. I hope you don't mind me reading a bunch of shit to you. In BC Wildlife Federation's post here, I'll just read one paragraph. It says, whirling disease is a threat to aquatic life in British Columbia. This webinar will cover its history in Canada, the disease declarations for various watersheds, and the impacts for various aquatic stakeholders. I found another thing on the Habitat Conservation Trust Foundation's website, and it's a visual thing, and it's the whirling disease life cycle. And it's very basic, which is great for morons like me. So 1, spores are found in soil and bottom of water body. 2, intake of, hold on, let me try and do this right. Intake of myoxospores. Yeah, I think I got that right. Myoxospores by tubifex worms. If there's any biologists listening to this, they're probably laughing their ass off. Intake of myoxospores by tubifex worms, where they develop into, I'm not going to try this next word, but there is an acronym, TAMs. So 3, the tubifex worm releases the TAMs into the water. 4, fish become infected by the TAMs as they enter the skin. That's disgusting. 5, infected fish may begin exhibiting whirling behavior, a black tail, and spinal deformities. So the whirling thing that they're talking about and why it's called whirling disease, from what I've read in some other articles, is they basically just like swim in circles. I'm sure these spinal deformities are part of that. So it's likely a disturbing thing to see. And then finally, 6, when an infected fish dies or is eaten by a predator, it releases the myoxospores into the mud bottom where the tubifex are, and these cycle begins again, all the way back to number one. So that I don't know, man. That kind of stuff is it's creepy. I think I'm sure you've seen like some of those parasites and stuff that will take over grasshoppers and shit like that, and basically just totally take over their brain and make them go to the top of a tree and fall into the water where they're eaten by other species. And yeah, it's just I don't know, man. The shit creeps me out. Anyways, those are some things that are happening, both good and bad in the province. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of some of the things that are going on, and info sessions and opportunities to volunteer your time, because that's obviously super important. It's a focal point of this podcast is getting out there and getting involved. We obviously push becoming members of all of the various organizations wherever you are, and we understand that that might not always financially be in the cards. We all have life priorities, but I think that all of us can carve out some time to donate, to do some good. And that is just as valuable, if not more valuable, to donate your time. And always a great group of people whenever you go out to these things, even the info sessions, if they're in person or online, great opportunity to meet some folks, ask some questions, arm yourself with knowledge and educate yourself. And the cool thing is you can educate other people by educating yourself. When you encounter somebody who's unsure of hunting or fishing or whatever, you can tell them about all these things and all the amazing things that we do. And it doesn't take long to shift someone else's thinking about hunting and fishing and conservation. So that's a beautiful thing, and something we'll continue to preach and encourage you guys to do. So just a quick episode today, guys. That's all I really wanted to cover. Lots to look forward to. Kelly, I think, is lined up this weekend to do a podcast with me. We got lots to catch up on, and we'll talk a bit more about our final bear hunt there. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll chat soon. Cheers. There you go, guys. Episode 161. Hope some of that was useful to you. Really just touching on some topics here. I hope that they pique your interest and encourage you to do some more reading. And like I said, feel free to chime in anytime with any of your comments. I love hearing from you guys. It's I don't get offended if someone writes in and says, hey, I don't agree with what you said. That's why I'm here talking about it. I want to hear from you guys. So send us an email, info@theRookieHunter.com, or hang out with us on Instagram. We're not always the greatest at returning stuff. We do read it eventually, and I love sharing it on the show. So anyways, next episode should be Kelly and myself. I really need to get Garrett on here. So anyways, look forward to that. And we'll talk to you soon, guys. Cheers.